Hi, and welcome to the Theme Park Trader Podcast with your hosts, Ryan and Dan.
Hello.
This week, I'm going into detail on Galaxy's Edge and the pros and cons of the land as it was when I visited in October/November, so before Rise of the Resistance opened, although we can talk a little bit about Rise of the Resistance and the increased problems that it's brought to the land. So yeah, it's going to be kind of mostly uniquely Galaxy's Edge, although as always I'm sure there's other bits and pieces that we're going to talk about. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast.
Each of us has a dream, a heart's desire. It calls to us, and when we're brave enough to listen and bold enough to pursue, that dream will lead us on a journey to discover who we're meant to be. All we have to do is look inside our hearts and unlock the magic.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
So, Dan, the first thing that I wanted to talk about this week, which actually isn't Galaxy's Edge related.
Come on, you just said in the intro.
I know.
What are you doing?
Someone contacted us on Twitter to say, I think I'll read out the exact wording.
I'm a little bit worried.
Regarding our episode last week, episode 200.
Right, okay. Still a little bit worried.
Let's
It's a good
see.
thing, a bad thing.
It's a mix.
Okay.
So John Self says, guys, love your podcast, but your advice for the 10-year gap person about touring Universal Orlando was not great. Your plan assumes they have EPA, early park access.
What question was it for?
The 10-year, it was about Jen having been to Universal Orlando in 10 years.
Oh, okay. And what do we recommend doing?
So your plan assumes that they have early park access. More likely they should start at Islands of Adventure if no rain. The reason why I said go to Universal Studios first is because whenever I'm in Universal Studios, and this is perhaps a bit short-sighted of me, Universal Studios opens early because it's Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, okay.
So it's open at, say, like 7 or 8, and the Islands of Adventure doesn't open until, say, 9.
Right.
But apparently, for much of the year, they open at the same time.
Oh, I see, right. Okay.
Which I didn't know, because I'm not there that time of year.
Yeah, I can never remember what time they open.
So
normally.
I think, Jen, if you're listening to this one, thanks, John, for writing in, first of all. If you're not going September, October time, then just check the park hours and make the decision from there.
Right.
If Universal's opening early, I would go to Universal and get there early and do it.
Did he say why he recommends going to the islands?
I would assume it's for Hagrid.
Right, okay.
But no, he didn't go into any specific detail. No, just...
Fair enough.
I still think Universal was the better park. In terms of your rides...
I think it's difficult. Islands has, like...
Some great rides.
Some great rides.
But there's only like 4.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of fluff in between them, isn't there?
Yeah.
Whereas I think Universal's probably got more consistent experience. Like, I don't know, obviously Islands has got... Well, they've now got Hagrid's, not that I've ridden it yet. But they've got Hagrid's, they've got Hulk, they've got Spider-Man, they've got Harry Potter.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's, it's still good.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Hulk? Do we say Hulk?
I did say Hulk, yeah.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much
Toon
it.
Lagoon and...
Forbidden... What's it called?
Lost Continent. You could just walk through them.
And Zeus Landings.
So three areas are just pointless.
So like half of the areas are pointless because you've got the Marvel area, which I can never remember what it's called, the Harry Potter
Superhero
area,
Island, I think.
and Jurassic Park area.
Yeah, those are the only areas worth visiting.
Yeah.
Whereas Universal, you've got good rides in I think every area.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Even in the Toon area, EC is hit and miss for a lot of people.
Yeah.
The first half of the ride, I mean, I went on it 3 times this year.
3 times.
Yeah.
Blimey.
I want to make sure that my opinion remains the same, and I'm still very much of
People are
the.
going to start questioning this ride. Well, he went on it 3 times, but he hates it.
I'm still very much of the opinion that the first half of the ride is great,
Right.
and then it goes.
You just close your eyes and
and then it
hands
just goes
over your ears.
terrible. And the third, I think it was the fourth time I said, "Oh, should we just go on it because we're here?"
Right.
Don was like, "No." So like, I'm not the only one that doesn't like it.
Yeah.
As I said, I really like the queue area and the first half of the ride, but then that's bad. But we did a Christmas special with Dis After Dark or Universal After Dark a few years ago, a couple of years ago now, I think, where we talked about ET quite a bit. So. So thanks for writing in. We're always happy to be corrected, and we're always happy to talk about those corrections on the podcast. I think it's useful for us to be aware of the opening times outside of the times of year that we don't go. I'm not on the Universal app checking park openings every day. If I was, I think I'd be a very unhappy man.
Reminding yourself that you're not there every day.
Every day, yeah.
Yeah.
So Jen, if you're going any other time of year, just be sure to check the opening hours.
Yeah, I don't think she didn't say why and when she was planning on going, did she?
No, I just assumed it would be the time of year that I go. So there you go. But on to the main part of this podcast, which is talking about Galaxy's Edge. And I kind of briefly went through it on my trip report and talked a little bit about some of the pros and cons, but I wanted to save the deeper discussion for today. I think it deserves its own episode, whether it's half hour to an hour, I don't know yet, we don't know. But I wanted to start off by saying that when walking into the land for the first time, it is mind-blowing as a Star Wars fan at what they've done. Like, no matter what the negative things I say today, the level of detail that has gone into the creation of this land really is second to none.
Looks stunning, doesn't it?
It looks just
insane. From what I've seen. Again, I've not been there yet.
It looks insane.
Year.
Well, everything has been. It looks like the land has been lived in as well. So it looked like the door panels are like slightly scratched, but they still have that Star Wars. Star Wars kind of. I watched A New Hope last night. It always looks a bit old, but also futuristic.
Yeah.
Like everything's kind of looks like it's been a bit battered and gone through, but yet there's still
a
droids.
War of stars.
A war of stars, exactly. But there's still droids and there's still blasters and lasers and all that kind of thing. And the land very much feels like that. It looks and feels like you're wandering around a planet from the Star Wars franchise, which is a big tick in Galaxy's Edge, I think. That's what they were looking to achieve.
Yeah.
And that's what they've done. The missed opportunity for me is it's not somewhere that I recognise. There's a lot of people complaining about that, saying it should have been Tatooine, it should have been
somewhere familiar,
Endor, or whatever, somewhere familiar.
Yeah.
I kind of see the point on that, but equally, if they'd done Tatooine, people would have been like, "Oh, but in the films, that hut doesn't look like that. It's got more of a curve to it. It's got cracks over here." And
so doing it as something unique gives them that little bit of flexibility.
I think so,
and a bit more creativity, I guess, as well.
Yeah, and also I think either way they're going to have Star Wars fans moaning about it. I don't think they can. I think at this point with some fans, you just can't win.
It's probably better and probably easier to just say it's somewhere completely new, because then it doesn't tie it to a particular set of films.
Yeah,
doesn't tie it to a particular generation. It just keeps it generic as such, doesn't it?
Well, the problem is they have tied it to a particular set of films.
Oh, they have. Well, with Rise of Resistance, they have, haven't they?
Well, and also the only characters wandering around are from the Resistance and First Order era.
Right. Okay.
So you'll have Kylo Ren wandering around.
They have tied it to us, to a degree, haven't they?
Which I think is good for now. Obviously, the third film is out this week. In that trilogy, episode 8, 9.
Call yourself a Star Wars fan, Ryan.
I just forgot. We all forgot about The Last Jedi.
I'm watching that tonight, actually.
I've still got Empire, Return of the Jedi, and then Force Awakens, and.
I mean, you got your work cut out before.
I won't be watching them all before I go and see it. I'll be watching them all before Dora and I go and see it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to see it Wednesday at midnight.
Yeah.
So there's no way I'll fit them in before then. But we'll as a couple we will watch them before Donna goes to see it with me.
Right. Okay.
I'll be seeing it at least 4 times. I would have thought. regardless. I mean, I think Force Awakens I saw 5 times at the cinema.
Jesus.
Last Jedi maybe twice.
Right.
Maybe twice. Significantly less. I hope that when I watch it again, it's been a couple of years now,
Yeah.
that I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But there's certain scenes, even the lightsaber scene that everyone raves about. I watched it again on Twitter the other day.
Is that as in the one with Snoke?
Yes, with all the guards.
Right. Okay. Was that in The Last Jedi? Was
Yeah.
It? Oh, okay.
When
I like that scene. But
Yeah, when I watch it again though,
Yeah.
it's like it's a red room that looks like it's a green screen,
Yeah.
and they're both terrible at fighting, so bad. And
I mean, Rey kind of has an excuse.
Kylo
hasn't
Ren
been-
doesn't.
She
though.
hasn't been trained. Yeah, Kylo Ren doesn't.
He's awful as well. I mean, Ray just basically is if I was to be handed a lightsaber,
Yeah.
that is what I would be doing. I'd be trying to hit people as hard as I possibly can.
Yeah.
She's literally just going. "Ah!" And to be fair, Kylo Ren's not much different. And that's a real problem I've got with the trilogy is that we've not had a decent lightsaber battle yet.
No.
Not, you'd argue that.
I was trying to think back. It's like Force Awakens. You got like Finn and Kylo, and it's like, well, he's just only just picked up. He doesn't
even know how to use it.
No.
And then even then, like, Rey's obviously just learned how to use the Force.
Yeah. She hasn't had any like proper training. She still hasn't had any proper training.
No, she hasn't.
Like,
and then when you think back to the prequels, the lightsaber battles in that are really cool. Like, yes, you could argue they're over choreographed, especially like the Anakin Obi-Wan fights, but they're still cool to watch. Like, I watched it Friday night,
yeah.
and Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting each other is so cool to watch, and the Yoda Emperor scene as well,
Yeah.
is amazing. Like, it's so. I remember watching that at the cinema, seeing Yoda walk into the room where Palpatine's sitting down, and it was like a dream come true. I was like, this isn't about to happen. There is no way this is about to happen. And then they both like get the lightsabers, and I'm like, whoa, here we go. And still to this day, that scene is still absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And I really do think that these movies have lacked a decent lightsaber battle.
Yeah. So far, I think I think I would agree because I think they need to be a bit more gritty with the lightsaber battles as well, don't they? Like I rewatched the scene last night from Rogue One where it's like right at the end where Darth Vader comes in.
Yes.
And that's such a badass scene, isn't it?
One of the best scenes that Star Wars has ever done.
Absolutely. And we need more like that.
Yeah.
100%. More sort of dark, gritty scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. And you know what? The Asian guy in Rogue One, he's much better with a. What?
Just like the way you said the Asian guy.
Well, I can't remember his name. Everyone knows who I'm talking about now.
I can't think of who you're talking about.
The guy that's like the Force. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He's clearly like an ex-Jedi, isn't he? I don't know if it was ever confirmed, but he.
Yeah, I can't remember whether it was confirmed or not. I can't. Yeah.
I want to see a movie based on.
He uses the Force, doesn't he?
Well, he never.
He kind of know.
He's got knowledge of it.
Yeah.
But you never see him use a lightsaber.
No, or does he? I don't think he actually uses the Force as such, does he?
No.
But
he's like, I am the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me. And like he's walking through, and like no shots are hitting him.
Yeah.
And he uses that stick with some Jedi reflexes, and he's blind as well.
Yeah.
So I'd assume that.
So he says.
Yeah. I assume he can use the Force pretty well, given that he's blind. I reckon he's the next Jedi.
Right. Okay.
But there we go. Either way, that scene with a non-Jedi is better than any scene that we've seen in the trilogy, the newest trilogy.
Yeah.
Back on track to Galaxy's Edge. It's very much set in the new trilogy. I saw Chewbacca, Rey, and Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren doesn't really wander around so much. Chewie and Rey do tend to.
Right. Okay.
Rey tends to gravitate to whatever small child is dressed as her.
Okay.
And just hold her hand and walk around with her.
So she went up to you, did she?
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's Rey. Which is cool. I think that's like a really nice idea. But they're going for storytelling.
Yeah. What within the land?
Within the land, and it just seems a bit odd. Like you've got Resistance one half, First Order in the other half. Like it's no real secret that they're there. The Falcon is parked outside. The First Order have banners everywhere on their side.
Yeah.
And they're all like, you'll see like a Resistance operative, I can't remember her name, it's not Rey, who's like literally like crouching behind pillars in the First Order section, like looking around corners like, oh.
Well, like a real person.
Yeah, like a real person.
Okay.
And like almost, like it's not quite this bad, but almost to a point where she's doing like forward rolls from one pillar to the next, trying not to be seen.
Yeah.
But sure, I mean, literally, the Falcon is right there, a known ship that is associated with the Resistance.
Yeah.
And you think that they don't know you're there. So it's that kind of weird
You're
thing.
saying it falls apart a little bit.
It does fall apart a little bit. Because I can literally walk in a space of 30 seconds from the First Order section to the Resistance section.
Right, okay.
And I'm like, why is there not a battle here
Yeah.
right now? And there's First Order troopers walking everywhere. Like there's usually like two troopers that are walking throughout the whole land constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So you think...
So it's kind of like they've tried to do the storytelling, but obviously they've got certain restraints. So it's a bit weird that they've kind of gone they tried to push it so much when, if you think about it a bit too hard, it doesn't make any sense.
No, and I think which they did fix for the opening of Rise of the Resistance.
Right.
And it's the fact that Kylo and Rey never meet. But for the opening they did, they had a cool, like a really awesome lightsaber battle on top of the roof.
Yeah.
But that's only happened once.
Hmm.
I mean, they're in the same area.
Yeah,
they both sense each other's presence.
Why aren't they doing that on like a daily basis?
Yeah, just a couple of times a day. Like, don't set a time for it. Randomise it throughout the day.
Yeah.
So they just like bump into each other or whatever, and then obviously they have to make their way to the roof somehow, because otherwise you can't be flailing about with lightsabers when there's little kids nearby. But I think there's a real missed opportunity there to not have that in the land.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise the story's cool. I don't dislike what they've done with it, but I think setting yourself in a trilogy which has done very well financially, it hasn't really got the backing of a lot of fans. And I mean, I spoke about this on Diz After Dark a few weeks ago. I think young girls have never been more interested in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thanks to Rey, and Rey's a fantastic character. I think young boys are starting to find themselves disinterested in the franchise. And speaking to a couple of people on Diz After Dark who have little boys, obviously sons, they're not that interested in it.
Oh, okay.
But you kind of see why. Who are they looking up to? Which cool character have they got? Kylo Ren is really the only force. I'm talking force wielding character.
Force wielding character. There's this. Well,
I mean, Finn's not particularly interesting.
No, I mean he's not force wielding anyway,
and he's not interesting at all as a character.
No, not really. Like Luke in the Last Jedi
didn't really do anything.
Didn't really do much, and then
there was a scene where it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
but now he's gone.
Yeah,
we don't know if he's dead, but he's gone.
Yeah,
it's pretty. I mean,
I assume he's dead.
Assume he's dead. I assume he's going to come back as a Force ghost, but for all intents and purposes, he's dead. And he didn't really do anything the whole film other than sulk.
Yeah.
So for boys, whereas when they were growing up, they had, depending on what era, you had Han Solo. Even though he wasn't a Force wielding character, he was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, you had Obi-Wan, old and young. You also had Luke.
Yeah. You
had Vader, who is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Even the Emperor is quite a cool character. And admittedly, there weren't enough women characters in Star Wars. Leia, watching it last night, New Hope, Leia was a fantastic, almost feminist icon at the time, and rightfully so. Like she's talking back to Luke and Han and barking directions at them, and again, rightfully so. They're both idiots. But I almost feel like it's flipped too far the other way.
Right.
So you've not really got a cool male Jedi character that is really resonating with kids.
Yeah,
I like the split. I think it's interesting to see a female-led story with Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it at all.
I have no issue. I know there's a lot of fans that do, but I have no issues with it. But what's interesting is the impact that it's had on boys growing up now.
Yeah, you think they haven't quite got the balance right.
So I'm wondering if they've missed a generation of kids now,
right,
liking Star Wars. I don't know. That's just the feedback that I've had from a couple of people that have boys in the house. They're far more interested in Marvel than they are Star Wars.
Right, okay. Do you think that's... whether it's a failing of Star Wars or whether that's just that there's other distractions.
Well, yeah.
If given the choice, whether they'd rather watch a film with Iron Man or Captain America or, whatever, than Star Wars.
Yeah, could be that.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think that we've had I mean, Rey is an interesting lead, but she shows no real power at the minute.
I mean, they said that JJ has come out and said that, she's really powerful and that sort of thing. She's picking everything up and there's a reason for it and all this sort of stuff. So there's obviously, I assume there's going to be some questions answered.
Hopefully.
In this film, because it's like the last of the Skywalker.
Yeah, but we've had no. This is the problem with it. As much as I've enjoyed this trilogy so far, we've had nothing really interesting happen with the Force.
No, we've had 2 films, a lot of questions, no answers.
Yeah. And at least in especially in the prequel series, you have a really cool lightsaber battle at least once in the movie, and I feel like they've just—it's basically like 2 kids have picked up a lightsaber and tried to fight each other in both films.
Yeah, because I don't think none of the kind of like leaders, masters have been strong, like shown to be strong, like Snoke. Or however you want to say it.
The biggest mistake they've made is getting him off, I think.
There was nothing... You barely saw him. He didn't do anything.
No, he didn't even use his powers, did he, at all, I don't think.
Luke, he barely did anything. As you said, he spent the entire film sulking, and then he had a good moment towards the end, and then he was gone.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well...
And it was cool.
Yeah.
That was a cool moment. And a cool twist.
Yeah, but then now the fact that he's gone...
Yeah, we're going to get Rey angrily just like... trying to poke someone's eye out with a lightsaber, and Kylo Ren just probably trying to knock down a tree because he's so angry. It just feels like it's missing that really cool lightsaber scene. I hope we see it in this one. But anyway, back to the land again, and I think that's missing from the land as well. There's a lot of secrecy and a lot of, like, the First Order are trying to find out if you're working for the Resistance. If they see you on your data pad, i.e. your mobile phone. They'll like come up to you and be like, "What are you doing on that? Are you in contact with the Resistance?" And literally, you could
like, "Yeah, I'm texting your mum."
I'm texting your mama. You can literally go turn around and be like, I just saw Rey walk down there. Like, come on.
Are you blind?
I know you can't see very well in those helmets, but what you're asking me is ridiculous. You literally walked around the corner a minute ago. You must have seen her.
Yeah. You just passed in the street.
Yeah. What's going on? Come on. So I guess that's kind of a negative of the storytelling, is it's very close together.
Right. But then I suppose maybe, like, I'm trying to think, like one of the originals, I guess the first one, they're on Tatooine and there's stormtroopers around and they're milling around.
Oh, absolutely.
And that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you've got, like, obviously, but then, obviously Luke and Obi-Wan, they weren't kind of, like, known as much at that point, were they? So.
But there was the moments where obviously Obi-Wan's like, move along, and also they get shot to pieces in the hangar, and before that they get recognised at the bar before they sneak off.
Right.
I remember all this because I literally watched it last night. But you're right in that for most of that section, the Empire and effectively the Rebellion, are operating in the same area.
They're in the same,
But the problem in the land is that they never meet.
Right, okay.
And in the film, they meet like 2 or 3 times in that space.
Yeah, so you think they could have some scenes in the land where, like, Rey meets the stormtroopers,
tells them to move on, or whatever.
Yeah, tells them to move on. Yeah,
whatever she could go about your business, and they just look a bit confused and walk away.
Yeah,
amazing. That's what they need. Perfectly what it needs. Or they see a Resistance fighter, which there are a few walking around, and they arrest them.
Yeah, or chase after them, and then it goes off into the behind the scenes.
Yeah, something like that's their kind of walking section done.
Yeah,
change costumes, kind of thing. Perfect. That's what it needs.
Like a Scooby-Doo skit.
Yeah,
running from door to door.
Yeah.
Suddenly the Resistance fighters chasing the stormtroopers,
and then there's a guy playing a banjo or something. But that's what it needs. It does need a bit more interaction between the cast members.
Yeah.
The other problem with the storytelling, which I did talk about a little bit, was that they're too far into it.
Right, okay.
There's so much into it that...
I thought you were going to say something else then. Like too far up their own arse.
Oh no.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
They're so into the storyline that's been told to them that they won't give you directions to Star Wars Launch Bay, which I saw firsthand.
Right, yeah.
It's like, but this person just needs to know where to go in the park. They know they're in a theme park. They're not stupid. I understand the kids. The kids might be like, oh my god, I'm in Star Wars. But again, they don't know what Star Wars is.
Oh, so that I find a bit weird.
Because they're like, literally, they're like, can you tell me where Star Wars... I heard her say, excuse me, can you tell me where Star Wars Launch Bay is?
Yeah.
She was like, oh, What do you mean? I've not heard of War of the Stars. I have heard on this planet far, far away there might be something you need to know over this way.
Right.
And it's like, that's the best you can do.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I get the fact that they're trying to be in character, but it is frustrating if you just want to know directions. If you just want basic information.
Yeah, they should tell you.
Yeah.
And I know that Nick from Diz After Dark had problems with his credit card or debit card being used in O's Cantina. And instead of saying, oh, there's a problem with your card, they came up to him and said, oh, there seems to be an issue with your credits.
Right, okay.
And he didn't know what they meant. He was like, what do you mean? There's an issue with your credits. Okay, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
And he had to then work it out for himself. It was something to do with, I don't know, spending dollars on his card, and he hadn't ticked a box or something. He had to go into the app and say that's fine.
Right.
But they could have just told him, oh, it's probably because, it's a foreign card and maybe just have a look at your app.
Yeah.
Instead there's a problem with your credits, which makes no sense.
It just causes a bit of confusion, doesn't it? And it's just like unnecessary.
I know that I'm in a cantina in a theme park.
Yeah.
I'm in my late 20s. I'm not an idiot. If it's a kid, by all means.
Yeah.
But if I'm asking you a question when my credit card isn't working, you need to tell me in English, in Earth English, what it means.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's kind of... Didn't they have something similar, like somebody asked where the toilets were or something like that, and they were just like, they don't use the word toilet or something?
Yeah, so they were unhelpful at that.
Yeah.
Which is, it is a problem and it needs to be sorted. So I've kind of covered the land is incredible to look at. It really is. You could spend quite a lot of time just looking at the detail in all of the doors and the walls and the shops. They're all very, very cool.
Yeah. Do they have a lot of... Obviously, one thing in, like, say, Harry Potter lands is they have a lot of shop, but a lot of them are facades.
Everything that I could see, you could go into.
Okay.
Even the marketplace is like a series of little shops.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah.
I'll be honest and say the merchandise didn't impress me that much.
What, actually in the land?
In the land. Because it doesn't say Star Wars on it.
Yeah.
Like, welcome to... they had t-shirts that said, like, welcome to Batu.
Right, okay.
Which were okay looking, but they were expensive. And if I want a t-shirt, I want it to say Star Wars on it. Maybe not actually have... even the t-shirts that I liked were like $40, something like that.
Ooh,
it's like $35, $40.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not paying that for a t-shirt that is...
Yeah.
It was okay. If it was $20, I would have bought it.
Yeah.
But I can pay for Star Wars merchandise that I actually really like, for less than that. And a lot of the toys and things like that they've got in there, they have like mini, like homemade kind of looking like Rey dolls.
Right, okay.
Like little, like wall ones, I guess.
Yeah, because I think they're trying to make it authentic, aren't they, to the land?
Yeah.
So,
but I was like, that looks terrible. I mean, I'm not the audience for it, to be honest.
No.
But it didn't look great.
But then, yeah, it makes you wonder how much it would appeal to a younger audience, because it's kind of like, it's Star Wars, but it's not really Star Wars as such. And it's kind of like, is it going to mean anything to the kid that it's like, it's not, if it's not like a, yes, it's based on Rey, but it's not like a action figure or something like that they might want. I don't know.
I mean, the biggest problem I spoke a little bit about this on This Is After Dark. We were comparing it to the Wizarding World.
Okay.
The big thing in the Wizarding World that you can do that you can't do in Galaxy's Edge is dress up as one of your favourite characters.
What? Because Disney don't allow
Disney don't allow it. Yeah. So in in Hogsmeade, you can dress in wizarding robes, you can carry a wand, and you feel like a wizard. Mm-hmm. Now, the biggest mistake that they make there is they call you a muggle even if you're dressed up as a wizard.
Oh, okay.
That takes the piss. That really takes the piss. I hate that they do that. If you're in normal clothes, yeah, fine, you're a visiting muggle.
Yeah.
If you're clearly dressed in wizarding robes with a wand, then you're not a muggle, are you?
No. Because the idea would be that you're like a...
you're just going about your business in Hogsmeade or whatever it is.
You're a school... Well, I can't think of it.
Which a wizard?
Yeah.
Pupil?
You're a pupil of Hogwarts. That's probably the idea, isn't it?
Yeah. Whereas, you go to Disney and they sell costumes. So you can buy, like the First Order officer outfit.
Okay.
But if I was to buy that for, I don't know what it was like $200 or whatever, I can't wear it.
Right, not
in the
car.
land.
Yeah.
And you know what? In the land is probably the only place that I want to wear it.
You're not exactly going to go down the shops, go to get your Costa.
No, not going to Costa in my first order officer's uniform.
Your $200 first order uniform.
I'd look a bit weird. And the fact is that I look a bit like a Nazi. Whereas in Galaxy's Edge, I just look slightly not like a Nazi because
you're in character.
Because I'm in character. and the same is true as Jedi. You can buy robes that look like Jedi, I guess.
Right.
But you can't wear them in the land. And it's like, well, what is the point of me buying it?
Can
Unless
kids
you're a
wear
kid.
them in the land? Oh, right, okay.
So kids can dress as... I saw lots of kids dressed as Rey.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But adults can't. And I think Disney's missing a trick there. In my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know what it will be like, because obviously they're going to... the new Star Wars Hotel, which I can never remember what they called it.
I don't think they've called it official name yet.
Have they not? It's not Galactic Outpost or something like that. Not the actual hotel, but...
I don't know. Maybe they have.
I feel like that is a thing. I don't know what... I can't remember. Yeah, because presumably people going there are going to be dressed up as Star Wars people.
Well, I always imagine that to be a bit like the Secret Cinema experience.
Yeah.
But in a hotel for 2 nights.
Yeah. But then they take you to the land as well, don't they?
Yeah. So if you've given a character, you must be dressed up.
Yeah, you would have thought so. They're not going to say, oh, you have to go back into your regular clothes. Especially if they're trying to keep the Star Wars experience going, isn't it?
Yeah. And the other thing, right, so you spend $200 on a lightsaber that you're not allowed to get out in the land. I did see people with them out taking photos. There was a woman holding it above her head at night.
Yeah.
By the Falcon, but technically that's not allowed.
Right, okay.
And I get it, they don't want people having lightsaber fights with each other in the middle of the land.
I mean, maybe it's appropriate use if you started having a lightsaber battle.
But that's exactly what you should be doing, isn't it? Just have an area that they've cordoned off. They don't make it obvious. They go, warning, Jedi sighted, or something like that.
Right.
And
I can see why they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, you don't
because
want
if you got injured, they would get sued.
Of course.
But even though it's not their fault, they would get sued.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit disappointing that you spend $200 on a lightsaber and you're not allowed to really wield it.
Yeah.
Which is why, not the reason why I didn't go and get one made, but it contributed. Because what's the point of me buying one? Because I can buy one on Etsy for less money and look better.
Right.
That I can mount on my wall.
Yeah.
Or I can buy one on Galaxy's Edge, take a lot of photos with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the money's at for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you'd have a problem taking photos with it. I wouldn't have thought.
Well, I don't know. They're not allowed. When I saw the woman, no cast members saw her do it.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know what would happen if they did. Maybe they'll allow it.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of an issue. And the fact that you spend, I don't know what it is, a lot of money on making a droid, and there's nowhere really for you to play with it.
Mm.
And these are droids they move on the floor and stuff. Now in the land concept art, we saw droid lanes where you'd be able to just drive them around and stuff. That's not happening. There was a square patch, very very small square patch where they were allowing people to play with their droids.
Right. Okay.
But that wasn't what was advertised to people. So I think this, and I can understand it is very busy. Again, they probably don't want people tripping over them. Mm-hmm. I've kicked a Sphero BB-8 before in a conference hall and sent it flying by accident. But I mean, why he was driving...
I thought you were going to say you kicked some kid's droid.
no, I was at a conference and
screw you!
I've got the Sphero BB-8 somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is at the minute, but it was just going around, I didn't see it. I kicked something, I was like, oh, what was that? And I just saw its head just fly off down the hallway. I'm like, well, you're an idiot for driving around in a £100 plus robot in the middle of a conference that's just gone for break, but... There we go. They were giving it away.
Okay.
I mean, it was going cheap after I kicked it. I'm sure.
It was going to be given to charity. Ryan's just like,
see ya. So the other thing, Smuggler's Run is obviously the only attraction that I did.
Yeah.
Rise of the Resistance. I've seen some footage. I've seen some reviews.
Have you watched the point of view yet?
I have.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I've watched one.
It looks good.
It does look good. Yeah.
It doesn't look as amazing as I thought it would be.
No, initial impressions, it wasn't it just reminded me of Spider-Man or Transformers.
Yeah,
that sort of attraction. People are saying it's amazing, and I'm sure probably in person it is a lot better.
It doesn't look mind-blowingly good from the video. It looks good,
but then things they don't always look as good on video.
No, nothing ever does, and I'm really looking forward to riding it.
Yeah, it still looks good.
Yeah, it does. But there's little things like when you're getting blasted by like first order troopers. That happens quite a lot, and we seem to be reusing the same effect.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
But I'm reserving judgment on that until I see it. It does look really cool.
Yeah.
There's a couple of animatronics that look really cool. But Smuggler's Run is a fantastic ride if you're the pilot.
Right. Okay.
And I know a lot of dudes Twitter have been like, "Oh, you're just moaning because you're entitled." The first time I went on it, I was a mechanic, I think, engineer.
You're right.
And I'd obviously heard feedback beforehand, which may have influenced my choice in saying mechanic's not that exciting. But when I got in, I was amazed by the cockpit. It looks really cool. Then as soon as we take damage, I turn away from the screen and I press buttons. And that's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's boring. For kids, completely agree, that might be the best thing about that day. But for a fully grown adult Star Wars fan, that's not what I'm getting into the Falcon to do. Press buttons.
But you're repairing the Falcon, Ryan.
Yeah.
You're keeping the ship going.
You know what happens if you don't?
Yeah.
Nothing. They promised this thing where if you're not repairing the Falcon, that you'd get called upon by bounty hunters or stormtroopers later in the day that would say would be like, you owe Hondo, I think it's Hondo. You owe Hondo credits.
Right.
Not happening. So what's the point? I'm not. That was where the storytelling was really meant to come into its own.
Right.
However, when you're a pilot, yes, I'm still only pressing buttons to a certain extent, but I'm also steering the ship. And you are steering the ship. You're going up, left or right, or up and down, depending on what seat you're in.
Yeah.
And you're jumping to hyperspace, which is still a cool feeling, even if you're just pushing a thing forward. That is a completely different experience, and one that takes the ride from a 2 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10, or 9 out of 10, I should say, really. And that's a disappointment. I had an argument with someone on Twitter where I said that's where Imagineering have gone wrong, and they were like, "No, you're just saying that because, you're in this like space. That's what you do. You're a podcaster, therefore you're looking for criticism and everything." No, if Disney do something good, and I mean good, we praise them for it every single time. I mean, you know how much I go on about the Celia. But also, if I'd only been on this ride as a pilot and I'd not experienced engineer, I would be telling you this was a 9 out of 10 attraction.
Yeah.
But the difference in the positions is so vast, I just can't believe how they signed off on it, if I'm being honest.
Do you think it's the fact that when you're an engineer, do you think it's because you're not looking at the screen that it lessens the experience?
That's 90% of what the problem I had with it.
Right. So if they change the controls so that they're kind of in front of you,
they came round to you, and you're still doing it. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
The other thing is it is very annoying when you've got terrible pilots.
Yeah. The amount of memes I've seen of like Baby Yoda being the pilot of the ship.
It is. Again, this is like a lot of people on this Twitter are criticised for this, saying, "Oh, you're ruining kids' time." I get it. I totally get it. And you know what? If it had been 2 kids driving, I wouldn't have a problem. They're just having fun.
Yeah.
But when it's an adult who's clearly never, I don't know how you can have so little awareness of how a simple left or right or up and down control works. Is beyond me. It really is beyond me. It's like you've never played a video game. You've never even no one's ever thrown a ball to you. You've had to catch. You're that spatially unaware. And that's when it's annoying.
Yeah, I mean, kids you can understand.
If it's like a little 5-year-old going, "Oh, I'm fine, the Falcon." Amazing. You could be having a great time. I don't care if we're getting hit left, right and centre. If it's an adult going, "Oh, whoa." Come on, mate. Take this seriously.
You're flying the Falcon. Sort your life out.
I mean, if I wasn't seatbelted in, I would have unbuckled myself and been like, "Get out."
Just pull them to the back of the ship.
Get in the gunner. You're a waste of space.
Do you obviously you didn't do the gunner. Did you see what the gunners had to do?
Press a button.
Right. Okay.
It's either automatic, you hold it down, or manual, you press it when you need to.
Right. Okay.
Again, pointless. It looked totally pointless. It looked really, really boring. So that's a real shame. A real shame. I think Imagineering have dropped the ball, and I'll happily criticise them on it when I believe they need to be criticised. Now, the highlight of the land for me is the obviously the atmosphere which we've talked about, which is incredible. I've never seen anything like it at Disney or any other theme park. I have to say, Wizarding World is good, but I'm more of a fan of Star Wars than I am Harry Potter.
Right. Okay.
So walking into Batuu is a very insane, surreal experience. But going into Ogre's Cantina is where it takes that experience from, oh my god, I'm in Star Wars, to holy crap, I'm in Star Wars. And I've spoken about it a little bit before. It is expensive. It is crowded. It's too crowded. But oh my god, you feel like you're in a cantina. And Donna hated it in there. Because
right. Well, every time you went in
every
there,
single time she hated it because it made her anxiety shoot up because there were so many people in there.
Yeah.
And it was it's very noisy. She wanted to keep going in there for me, which, to be fair, is very nice of her and probably not kind enough on my part in going in 3 times. But I want you to know, everyone, that I do care about her anxiety. I was very protective of her in there. I'll have another drink. But what I was saying is, we watched, as I said, New Hope last night. Obviously, there's a scene in the cantina very near the start of the movie, and Donna was like, wow, they really did make it look like a Star Wars cantina. Because she hadn't seen New Hope in years.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And the first thing she said was, they've done a really good job with that.
Right.
Obviously, it's not on Tatooine, so they do look different. But when you see it, it is very cool.
They've done it justice.
Yeah, they've totally done like a cantina justice.
Yeah.
And they've got, obviously, Rex in there as the DJ, which is very cool. There's some cool elements to it when the power goes out, stuff like that. The drinks are really cool. Even if they're pre-made, they tasted good. A lot of people complain that they're pre-made, they're not making you cocktails from scratch. I don't really care. I'm in a Star Wars cantina. I'm not necessarily in there for 10 out of 10 quality alcoholic drinks. The snacks are cool. The bar snacks that we tried didn't look like anything I'd ever seen on this planet. And they tasted great. I think you have to be someone that isn't fussy with your food to enjoy them.
What are you saying, Ryan?
Well, you wouldn't enjoy them. And Donna thought they were, okay.
Right.
But they looked amazing, and I thought they tasted great.
What sort of things did you have?
No, I couldn't tell you.
Oh.
Genuinely couldn't tell you what I was...
No idea what they were. Tasted great.
I'm guessing it was a mixture of weirdly shaped hard pretzels and crispy vegetables.
Right, okay.
I'm guessing. And it came with a little dip.
Right.
But it was all good. It didn't taste like any dried vegetable that I tasted before. Not dried vegetable, crispy veg.
Yeah.
Kind of like Doritos, but vegetables.
Yeah. I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it didn't look like them.
Right.
But I felt like they must have been something like that. But they were very, very good. And the drinks all tasted great. A couple of them tasted a little bit too sugary, which is a problem with pre-made drinks. But I tried a couple of cocktails. I tried the beers in there, and they were all very good. Again, the biggest issue with that cantina is that there is no one in there that isn't human, other than Rex.
No one in there. Okay.
So there's no characters.
There's no aliens.
There's no alien. I mean, which you see in every single Star Wars cantina we've seen in the movies. And there's none of that happening in there. And I think that's a little bit of a missed trick, just to have every now and again an alien comes in the bar, orders a drink. It looks like it's alcoholic. It's not. Obviously, they're drinking juice or water or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just having a drink with another alien just chatting in some different language. That would take the experience even further.
It's surprising they haven't done that, given that they've got characters going around the rest of the land.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd have 1 or 2 people in the bar that were kind of acting something out.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder whether they're not doing that because it's so busy. Or
I hope so, because
maybe.
I'd love to see First Order troopers come in and start asking around for, have you seen this person from the Resistance?
Yeah.
Something like that.
That would be a really nice touch, wouldn't it? Just with a picture of an alien.
Yeah, on a data pad or something.
Yeah.
Make it look cool and be like, have you seen this?
Just hide the iPad logo.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they wouldn't have to do much to it. They just put an Android tablet into a case,
into a
shell,
case, yeah.
And it would easily make it look like it's scratch it up a little bit.
Yeah, and then just walk around and say, "Have you seen this?"
Yeah, amazing. I don't like experience. I don't like being spoken to by you're the same, but in a cantina where there's First Order troopers just literally outside.
Yeah,
I would expect them to check the cantina for Resistance fighters.
Yeah.
and it's missing that. Even if a resistance fighter, it doesn't have to be Ray. A resistance fighter comes in, has a drink at the bar, and a first order trooper comes in. He runs out the back.
Yeah, just something.
Something
it
like
doesn't
that.
need to be so interactive. It just
Doesn't
needs
need to be
be
massive.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, something subtle. It could be.
So that for me is the only downside to Ogre's Cantina. But it was by far one of the best experiences I've ever done at Walt Disney World.
Right.
And I will, if I'm in Disney World for 2 weeks, I will hit Ogre's Cantina with the person that I'm with permission at least twice. At least.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it that much. The first time I was in there, I spent $80. And I did not care.
How many drinks was that?
4 plus some food, I think.
Right. Okay.
So very expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't care.
Yeah.
I genuinely didn't care.
Well, that's the thing. I think
I was so
you're
amazed.
Yeah, you're obviously on holiday, so I think it's kind of
That's another reason.
it's a bit
for
more
it.
acceptable, isn't it? They're still overpriced, but people are willing to spend it because they're on holiday, and it's an experience they're not going to do very often.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I've got a booking for Ogre's Cantina now. So yeah,
There are some good non-alcoholic drinks in there.
Yeah. I've seen on the menu that there's a few good ones, and my brother's going to be there, and he drinks, so I'm sure I'll have something.
Do you think he'll get the beer fly?
Probably not.
No. I'm the only
yeah.
one stupid enough to do that.
Hey,
I'm the only one stupid enough to do that.
having to try and get that back on the plane.
Oh, it was fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely fine.
just the extra suitcase you had to work.
Well, we did have 3 cases, yeah. That is the thing.
Yeah.
And even then we struggled
Yeah.
somehow. But then we had 3 weeks worth of clothes.
Right. Okay. I saw on Facebook somebody that we both I used to work with. I don't know if you worked with him. He had he brought back one of the lightsabers.
Oh, I did see this. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was quite impressed that he managed to bring that
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you bring that back.
No,
Like, I don't know if it comes apart, but you imagine the actual lightsaber part of it. You'd imagine would all be one solid piece.
yeah, I think it is.
So
Yeah.
how are you bringing that back on a plane? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
no.
know.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to fit in a overhead locker.
No.
Like the length of it, I wouldn't
No.
have thought it would fit in an overhead locker.
No, it'd probably fit by your feet though. If you were 2,
Oh, what, if you lined it?
just laid it down.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if that's how they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can bring it on your case.
Yeah,
risky.
again, I imagine it wouldn't fit unless you took it apart and it
I don't know. The
might-
boxes aren't as
like,
big as you think.
Maybe if you had it diagonally.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think because they give you a strap, you put it over your back,
Right. Okay.
and they're not as big as you think.
Yeah, it's just I assume it would be longer than a suitcase, but maybe diagonally.
I don't think they are.
Right.
I think you're all right.
Okay.
So I think that's it really with Galaxy's Edge. Unless you had any questions.
I don't think so. Obviously, you didn't do Rise of the Resistance. What do you think of the queueless system?
Yeah,
They've got
so
at
the
the
new
moment.
boarding party system.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's terrible.
Yeah. Do you reckon? I assume it's not going to be permanent.
I hope not.
I
It's
assume
not
it's
gone
just gonna be-
down well, has it?
No.
So basically, what happens is you have to get to the park and go through the gate
Right.
to be able to access the app, where it will tell you. I think you have to actually go through the gate.
Oh, what? And then it registers and it knows
That
you're
you're in the park.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So then you load up the app and say, I want to get a boarding party, and then you get a boarding party. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to get on the ride because it can break down or whatever.
Sure.
But then they go, okay, come back at 12 o'clock, and then you go to the Rise of Resistance and queue.
Yeah.
Great in theory, but what's happened is, say, the park's been opening at, say, 8:30 in the morning, and people have been showing up to the parks at 5 a.m.
Oh my God.
Disney have had to let people in for security reasons.
Right.
They can't have people queuing outside to wait to get in the car park. And there's been so many people by the gate, like by the entrance of Hollywood Studios, they've opened the park at, say, like 6:30 sometimes.
Right.
This
okay.
week.
Yeah.
Last week. Which means that if you're expecting the park to open at 8:30 and you get there for 8:30,
Yeah.
the boarding parties are all gone.
Right. I see. Okay.
And if you're there for a couple of days, you're going to be annoyed.
Yeah.
And if you're there on property, you're going to be annoyed because Disney Transportation does not start that early into the
Right.
parks.
Because officially the park hasn't opened.
Right. So why would the buses start at 4:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
When the park doesn't open until 8:30? They'll start at probably about 7.
The thing is, I can understand. Like, yes, they've got safety problems, but they should be turning people away.
Completely.
Like, because they shouldn't. If they keep doing this, then
It's setting a precedent for
yeah,
future attractions.
yeah, because people will just be like, oh well, I can go there at 5. It'll open at 6:30. I don't have to wait until 8:30.
Yeah.
But if they just turn people away and say you can't park, you can't stop, we're not open yet, and then you have to come back later, then it kind of it levels the playing field. And as you say, it's not setting a precedent for future attractions and everything like that, is it?
Yeah, it's bad, and the problem is mainly been when you're on property and you're staying. A lot of people don't have cars.
Yeah,
I
right.
often don't. We didn't last time we stayed there.
Yeah.
So the only way you can get there really that time of morning is an Uber, which is fine. You can do that if that's your choice. What they've started to do again, they're pandering to people. They said, okay, well, I think the gondolas are operating at. You know what? I've actually got the times here because I wrote an article on this the other day. So I know the gondolas are opening at 6:45.
Right. Okay.
Which is very early.
But then that's only if you're on certain resorts, isn't it?
That is true, but minivans are operating at 5 a.m.
Right. Okay.
They're pandering into it.
Yeah.
Instead of turning people away,
which is ridiculous.
they're opening more people in.
Yeah. If you're going to open the park early, make it official.
Yeah.
Open the park early officially. Don't kind of do it unofficially, and if there's people there, then they'll open the park early.
Yeah.
Because that's just not. It's not fair for everyone, even locals.
Yeah.
Who aren't necessarily going to know what time the park's going to open because it depends what time you turn up. It means that every day you have to turn up at like 5 a.m. In order to get there for park opening because you don't know when it's going to open.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so I think the whole system is wrong. I think they need to just let people into the queue for now. It'd be great. It'd be great if it's great in theory, but right now I don't think it's working.
I don't know whether did they ever have a queue for it? Or was it boarding pass straight away?
I think it's boarding pass straight away.
Right. They probably took that from their experience with the Smuggler's Run.
Yeah.
Because obviously they did queue for Smuggler's Run, but then they introduced the boarding pass system, didn't they?
Yes.
Like not long afterwards.
That's right.
And then they've stopped that now.
Yeah.
So maybe it will become. Maybe they'll switch back to the queue at some point.
I think they will. I think once it's calmed down in a few weeks, they probably will after the Christmas period's done.
Right.
But it does seem that, well, the idea I love, but it doesn't seem to be working right now. You shouldn't be arriving at Hollywood Studios at 9:30 and not being able to ride that attraction.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think Disney have kind of caused that themselves, haven't they? They're not. They shouldn't be opening early. They shouldn't be opening before the scheduled time.
No. No, absolutely
and
not.
if it's a security thing, turn people away.
Well, they did when on the on opening day they started turning people away. And
because people were turning up at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Which, Jesus Christ.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? But people were just parked on the back. They were just waiting on the verge. And police had to come and start telling them to move on.
Yeah.
Move on.
And I think that's what they should have to do. Because it's, they shouldn't... If they can't handle the people queuing at that time of day, they should be turning them away.
Yeah.
No,
definitely. It's insane.
Yeah.
So overall, Galaxy's Edge is, I think, a masterpiece in Imagineering design. I think there's obviously some issues with the land. There's going to be issues in anything that Disney does, I think, or anything that any theme park does. Especially as a Star Wars fan, you're going to critique it more. But overall, I'd say if you're thinking about going, absolutely go. Especially now that Rise of the Resistance is open, just make sure you get there at 5.
How busy was it in general? When you were
know what? The first couple of times I went there, it wasn't as busy as I thought it was going to be.
Right. Okay.
I went there by myself one morning, and the queue was right from. So Smuggler's Run is like one side of the land, and the other side of the land exits into Toy Story Land.
Yeah.
The queue was into Toy Story Land.
Right. Okay.
Which was insane, and I was in the queue, and I was like, that's when I did a live video on Facebook when I was walking towards it. I got to the queue, and I was like, no. So I just went and did. I think I went to Slinky Dog Dash.
Right. Okay,
no, Slinky Dog Dash was down.
Oh.
So I went and got a coffee and then did Rock and Roller Coaster.
Right. Okay.
Or one or the other before, and came back. The queue was still there by Toy Story Land. So I was like, this can't be right. So I walked to the front of the attraction, and there was no one queuing for single riders. So I just went, I'll just walk in.
Oh, I see.
So I just walked in and waited 10 minutes.
What was the one that you said recently was the queue for single rider was like halfway down the line?
Hagrid's.
Hagrid's, right, okay.
Yeah. Motorcycle, magical creature, adventure.
all the words.
All the words. Yeah, that one was like that.
I guess that's something we should give Disney credit for. Is they've named their attractions quite sensibly in this land. Smuggler's Run.
Easy to say.
2 words.
Rise of the Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance.
It
4
makes
words.
but it makes sense.
And it's super simple to say.
Yeah.
It's like in
even like the made up words like ogre's cantina.
Yeah,
easy to say.
It's super simple. And
Ronto roasters.
Yeah,
easy
not
to
like
say.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Yeah. No one British can say that. Can anyone American say it? I don't know. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is very difficult.
We should do an experiment next time you're in the park. Just like go up to people, record them. Can you say Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway?
I'm going to say, can you say this? That'd be a great little
video,
an episode to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
How fast can you say this?
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So that's it on our Galaxy's Edge special. We hope you've enjoyed it. Please do and go and rate us 5 stars on the iTunes podcast app, and also go and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search for Theme Park Trader. So thanks again for listening, and we will see you all again for one more show before Christmas next week.
Is it?
Yes.
It'll be the Monday before Christmas.
Monday before Christmas.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next week.
Ah, there you are. And just in time. There's a little matter I forgot to mention. Beware of hitchhiking ghosts. They have selected you to fill our quota, and they'll haunt you until you return.